This podcast episode is sponsored by Geekdom, San Antonio's entrepreneurship hotspot and co-working space. Whether you need one-time recurring office space or event space, Geekdom has it all. Use code SOCIALBUTTERFLY when signing up for a membership to receive $25 off of monthly membership. Welcome back to Unapologetically Visible, the podcast for high-achieving Latina and women of color founders who are done being the best kept secret. I'm your host, Christina Olivarez, award-winning leadership and visibility coach, TEDx speaker, and founder and CEO of the Social Butterfly Gal and Hustle and Socialize. I want to take you behind the scenes of what I actually look for in a private one-on-one coaching client. I have coached one-on-one over 350 plus Latina and women of color founders over the last decade. My coaching sits at the intersections of leadership development and visibility and authority positioning, nervous system sustainability, and business strategy. Anytime anybody applies to work in private coaching or a VIP day or even an intensive, I'm really paying attention to specific behaviors and patterns that help me figure out if they are in alignment with the offer that they want to work with me in. The biggest thing I'm looking for has very little to do with whether someone technically has the money to be able to invest in and pay, but identifying certain behavioral indicators for the most aligned clients to come on board. Because this work is not just about marketing and branding or business or social media visibility. This work is extremely emotional. It is hard. I coach with a lot of depth. I am very intuitive. And the ones who come on board to work with me privately for a long period of time have to have a high standard of coachability, but also adaptability. So in today's episode, we are going to dive into how I qualify every applicant and if they are an aligned fit, who is best suited for long-term private coaching, who may be suited for an intensive or a VIP day, and what makes someone who wants proximity actually ready for the responsibility that comes with it. The biggest thing that I look for anytime I'm reviewing applications is ownership. Yes, I read every single one of the applications that comes in. When somebody wants to work with me, just kind of basing on if they send me a DM that they want to work with me, I ask a series of questions to kind of get an understanding of where they're at. And then depending on what I notice, then I send them an application. Or if someone just comes to my website, goes to the application page and fill it out, I read every single one of these applications. And not only that, but I take the time to do some deep analyzing work with each of the applicants. Anytime I'm reviewing applicants, I'm always looking for ownership. Does this person have some decision readiness? Are you an emotional, mature leader and have the emotional maturity to be able to be in a long-term partnership without needing to be handheld through every single step? There is a difference between accountability and support versus legit handholding. We are all adults. So at the end of the day, no matter how old you are, no matter how much experience you have, I am not going to be holding your hand through this process. You, as a founder, a CEO, somebody who has been doing this work, has to take ownership at every single stage of your life and your business. A private coaching container should always feel supportive. And that's one of the values that I hold tightly is every single one of my coaching containers has to be not just a safe space, but also a brave space. Because I fully believe that in order to have that vulnerability and to be able to make progress on your goals, you have to have a container that provides the support, the safe space, the brave space in order to make specific decisions that are going to get you to your next level. So a container and the coaching that I do is very steady. I make sure that you are not carrying every decision alone. And in my coaching container, I do provide you the space to be able to think out loud and process and be challenged ask questions, refine your ideas, not being married to a specific idea. But when you work with me in private coaching, you are going to have someone in your corner who can see both the business and the human side and how to lead both of that, because that is part of the work. But when it comes to holding your hand in the way that I'm talking about, that is extremely different. Hand holding is when a client wants the coach to become the source of their leadership and the source of how they make their decisions. They start thinking of hand holding and support from the lens of, well, I need my coach to tell me what to do. And there are times where that might be you need some strategy or consulting. But when we really think about coaching and the definition of coaching, it's a series of asking questions where your answers to those questions are going to lead you to your next step, that are going to lead you to making specific strategies and decisions for your next level of leadership. And so when I am looking at all of the applicants, I am looking at the responses to make sure that you have a level of ownership and are not just looking for somebody that is going to hold your hand and tell you what to do. You have to make those decisions every day to show up, to hold yourself accountable, to make the commitment to follow through in what you say that you are going to do. This work comes with a lot of discomfort, and I feel like many of the clients that I work with automatically know that they are going to be, or they're going to need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. My coaching is leadership work. Of course, we go through visibility strategies. We look at your positioning, your messaging, your offers, the way your business is being experienced. But underneath all of that, I'm always looking at the women that are leading the business. So when you fill out an application, I am looking at how do you make decisions right now? What type of power are you currently holding? And what type of power could you have after you finish the container? How do you respond when something does not work the first time? What is your emotional reaction, your mental capacity, the cognitive load that you are carrying? How do you speak about your own work and your own fault? Where do you soften the truth just to remain likable? Where are you over explaining because you do not trust yet your own authority? When I review private coaching applications, I'm not impressed just by revenue. Of course, revenue allows for the context. It helps me understand the stage of business that you're currently in and the kind of decisions that you are currently making, whether the container is financially appropriate or not. But what I have learned through coaching many different women at many different stages is that revenue alone does not tell me who is ready. Someone can have a very successful business and have all of the revenue to be able to pay a whole entire year of private coaching, but they might not be coachable. Someone could look very established online and still avoid ownership behind the scenes. So that's when I have to look deeper. I look at how you talk about your business, how you describe your patterns, whether you can name what is yours without blaming others for the decisions that you've made for your business. And there is a very important distinction because ownership is what part of this am I responsible for leading now? I care deeply about this because I've had to practice this in my own business. There have been many seasons where I've wanted to make the problems that I've been experiencing or the challenges that I've been experiencing everything outside of me. Sometimes I would blame the market or the algorithm or the economy. And yes, some of those things were true. Some of those things is very real in what many people are experiencing and many business owners are experiencing. But at some point, I still have to come back to my own leadership and take ownership in what is mine to lead from here. So sometimes I ask, where do I need to sharpen my message? Or where are some of the relationships that I need to build, some of the patterns that I need to let go, limiting beliefs that may be stopping me from getting to my next level because I'm self-sabotaging myself? All of these questions have saved me so many times and have allowed me to take ownership of where I'm maybe missing a step. And that's why it is very important to have clients who also value taking ownership and hold themselves accountable. But of course, as the coach, I'm here to be with you every step of the way. The second biggest thing that I look for in an aligned private coaching client is emotional maturity. There has to be a very high standard of emotional maturity in this work. And I'm looking for women who can be honest about what they're feeling without making the feeling be the final authority. You can feel the fear while still making progress on the decisions and while still going through your commitment. If you are building a business at your next level, you are always going to feel a discomfort, no matter how hard you try to outrun it. Sometimes your next level is going to feel very exposed, and you're going to feel lost in many, many ways. Your next level of leadership is going to require a relationship with discomfort that does not automatically send you into an avoidance. The best private coaching clients do not need every move to feel certain before they take action. My clients understand that sometimes in order to build confidence, you do have to move when you do not even know what the next step is or what the answer is going to be or the specific outcome that's going to happen. My private coaching clients are not looking for someone to hype them up. Like I said, a lot of the women that I've worked with privately one-on-one are looking for someone who can sit with them in that complexity, in the discomfort, who can help them, who can help guide them to make decisions that's in alignment with their next level and with their highest self. For long-term private coaching, that recalibration has layers. We may start with your messaging, but then we realize throughout the coaching that the real issue you're facing with, you're afraid to be super direct in your messaging. We may start with your offers, and then as we comb through all of those offers, we realize your current business model is built from an old version of yourself and not from who you are right now at your core. We may start with your visibility ecosystem and the visibility strategy, but then we realize you're still trying to be relatable to people who are not your most aligned buyers. This is why this work takes time, and your ability to be emotionally mature is also going to grow through time. My best clients are not always the ones who are moving the fastest. They are the ones who stay committed and in a relationship to their vision and to the work that's needed to be done. My clients, of course, need support and space in order to process. And one of the biggest factors that I feel is such an incredible behavior pattern is the ability to be resilient through it all. Resilience is one of the qualities that I deeply respect in all of the clients that I work with, which is the third thing that I look for in my private coaching clients. The kind of resiliency where you can fail, you can recognize that it is really hard, but you're still connected to your own agency. You can try something and learn from it and make decisions to refine it, or you can have the resiliency to say, you know what, that's not in alignment anymore now, and let things go without being married to the decisions that you're making. I am somebody who doesn't believe that decisions are right or wrong. When you make a decision in your life and your business, you are basing off of your decision off of the knowledge and the wisdom and the experience that you have in the current moment. And through time, as you take the action for that decision that you've made, that's when you are going to learn. And if it doesn't work out, that is okay. You are able to learn from that and make a better decision to do better next time. That is the type of resiliency that I'm looking for in my clients, the ability to say, you know what, I might have failed. This didn't work, but you know what? It's okay. We're going to get right back up. We're going to keep on going no matter how difficult this is. Or I'm also going to know I have the resiliency to say no and to say, all right, I'm going to let this go and open up new potential possibilities that are going to lead me to my next level of fulfillment. Long-term private coaching is not only about solving the visible problem. I help you become more self-led inside the next chapter of your business. So while all of these qualities are really important for private coaching, my long-term coaching container, I also have two other coaching containers that might be a better fit for someone who is needing quick solutions and not so much a long-term container. So let's talk about who is best suited for an intensive. My 90-minute intensives are beautiful for the women who need at least one focused decision or an audit or a reset. You might not need a long-term container just yet, but you might be sitting with a specific decision that has been irking you, and you really need somebody that is going to help you make the decision or understand how to better solve the problem that you have right now. Maybe you are trying to decide whether you should keep an offer or retire it or reposition it. Maybe your content has started to feel a little flat and you need someone to look at the analytics and the messaging underneath it and your audience's habits. That is where an intensive is going to make the most sense. It is not meant to become a substitute for ongoing leadership support. My intensive is really built on a focused strategic reset. We get in, we look at the tension, we identify the pattern, we make the decision clear, and then you leave with actual direction. From there, you can either make a decision of funneling into either a VIP day or long-term coaching. Let's talk about a VIP day. What is that? VIP day is for the woman who already knows that there's a gap. You have self-awareness to already know that this is the thing that needs to be rebuilt. Maybe it's your messaging, your visibility ecosystem, your whole entire offer system, your business model. You might be preparing for a launch or a rebrand or something that's going to just require strategic focus. You have the capability to execute, but you really need a concentrated, deep, strategic space. And that's exactly what my VIP day is. It's the kind of space where we spend a full day refining something with super big precision. So when I think about who is a great fit for a VIP day, the questions that I am kind of answering when I'm looking at applications is, does this woman already know the gap? Does she have enough capacity to make decisions? Is she ready to leave with a plan and then move into the next stage? And if yes, then a VIP day is going to be extremely powerful. Just as an intensive, you can funnel right into long-term coaching. That is an option, but these offers are all meant to be incongruent with the nucleus, which is my private coaching. I know we talked about what I look for in how I qualify my clients, who's the best fit for the clients, but I do want to talk about a red flag that sometimes I see whenever I am looking at applications or speaking with potential buyers. One red flag is wanting guaranteed results without the ownership. I understand why people want certainty, especially if you are investing in big money. My coaching is an investment. You can either look at it as an expense, but what I see is the coaching that you get right now is also going to benefit you long term. I'm talking years and years. It's going to save you money. It's going to make you more money. It's going to change your life. And that is a huge investment, but also there is no ethical way for me to guarantee a specific result that is going to depend on your leadership, your execution, your capacity, your own market, your timing, your decisions, your follow through, and your willingness to be seen. As a coach, yes, I guide the work. I can sharpen your strategy. I can help you see the pattern. I can allow you to know how to communicate with more authority and help you make stronger decisions. I can also help you reposition the way that people experience your value and your authority, but I cannot do all of those parts for you. I cannot be visible for you. If you say that you are going to put out specific pieces of content, or do the emails, create your podcast, you can only do that. I cannot have these sales conversations for you. If you are struggling with the ability to increase your prices or enroll clients, I can give you the strategy, but at the end of the day, you have to do the work. And I cannot want your next chapter more than you do. That is why ownership matters so much. And there is a difference between a stretch investment and a panic investment. A red flag that I see sometimes is really wanting to work with me, but there is that panic investment. And so a stretch investment may bring up some nerves, and it's going to require specific planning, which is why I often do payment options, because I do know that for stretch investments, you want to be able to make this work. And as the most aligned clients, I am here to work with you. But there are specific boundaries. There are specific rules when it comes to payment plans. And that's why it's so important to know when you're making a stretch investment or a panic investment. A panic investment has the desperation attached to it. It sounds like, well, I need your coaching to work immediately or everything is going to fall apart. That is not a clean place to enter any type of one-on-one coaching relationship. The work cannot breathe when the investment is carrying the pressure of being someone's entire rescue plan. So if someone is in a financial panic, I would rather tell the truth to them. I would say, why don't you stabilize first? Maybe choose a smaller pathway. Wait until the decision is more grounded. So here is what I would ask you if we were sitting together having a cup of coffee, or maybe we're in a discovery call and you were telling me about what's been going on in your business and how you're ready for some help and that you're wanting to potentially pursue working with me in one-on-one coaching. I would ask, are you looking for support because you are ready to lead differently or because you want someone to tell you what to do? Then I would ask, is this a specific decision or is this a larger recalibration? If you need clarity on one decision, an intensive might be the better fit. If you already know your gaps and you need a full concentrated day to rebuild your strategy, a VIP day may be the cleanest. If the tension is layered and your identity and visibility and positioning, leadership, offers, business model are all connected, then long-term private coaching may be the space and the room that can actually support and hold the work. I would also ask, are you willing to be challenged without turning the challenge into shame and blame and guilt and uncomfortability? Because I will challenge you. So if you've been listening to this episode and something in you feels seen, I want to invite you to take that next step. There are 3 ways to work with me right now. My 90-minute intensive is best for the women who need one focused decision, a visibility audit, or a messaging reset. Maybe you just need strategic clarity around a specific issue or challenge. My VIP day is best for the woman who already knows the gap, has the capacity to execute, and needs a concentrated strategy day to rebuild, reposition, and map out the next phase of your business. And my long-term private one-on-one coaching is best for the established founder who is in a deep season of identity, visibility, positioning, leadership, and business recalibration. Think about if you are in a season where you are trying to navigate your next chapter or your next era. Once you decide which one you feel like you're a great fit, you can fill out the application. The private coaching and VIP day have applications, but if you are wanting to have an intensive, you can automatically book the day and the time and fill out the form and pay right then and there on the booking calendar list. So you don't have to fill out an application for the intensive. It's only private coaching and VIP day. But once you fill out that application, I'm going to look at the season that you are in and the kind of support that you need and the level of ownership you are bringing and whether the container can actually serve you. And once I feel like we could be in alignment with a great coaching partnership, then I will invite you to the next step in the process, which is a discovery call. And that's part of the ongoing onboarding process. If you resonated with this episode, here's what I want you to do next. Subscribe and leave a review because that helps this podcast reach more women like us, women who were never meant to stay hidden, women who are meant to be highly visible leaders. Share this episode with someone you love who is looking for one-on-one coaching support. And DM me on Instagram at the Social Butterfly Gal. Tell me your biggest reframe, your biggest breakthrough from today's conversation. And if you're feeling the call to go deeper, to recalibrate your personal brand, leadership, and your visibility, I would love to support you through one-on-one coaching. You can find the coaching information and offers in the links in the show notes below, or send me a DM with the word coaching, and I will personally walk you through what offers are in alignment with your current season, and what it looks like to step into this next era with clarity, confidence, and unapologetic authority. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening and for all of the shares and reviews. Remember this, you didn't come this far to play safe. You came here to be unapologetically visible. I'll see you next week.